What kind of person would wear the same clothes they wore 10 years ago? It might sound strange, especially in a world where new styles pop up every day and wardrobes keep changing. But let me share a little insight that might surprise you. Sometimes, it's not about holding on to outdated fashion or refusing to move with the times. It can be about cherishing what has stood by you through countless memories. Over the years, I've seen people cling to a coat, a pair of jeans, or a sweater for reasons that go beyond style. They might remember when they first wore that piece, how they felt, and how it marked a season in their life. Wearing the same clothes from 10 years ago doesn't always mean someone is stuck in the past. It can mean they've found comfort in what those clothes represent, and they're not afraid to show it. Let me tell you something else about these folks. They're not always old-fashioned or out of touch. Often, they've learned a simple truth. Not everything needs to be replaced the moment a new trend appears. Before we go further, I'd love to know where you're joining us from. And if you find any value in these reflections, a like and subscribe would mean a lot. Feel free to share your own story in the comments too, because I believe every piece of clothing can carry a story worth telling. Sometimes keeping the same clothes is a form of gratitude. It says, I appreciate what I have, and I don't need more to feel complete. That doesn't mean new clothes are bad, of course, but there's a certain peace in holding on to something that has walked with you through different chapters of life, reminding you of who you were and who you've become. I once met a man who wore the same leather jacket for over a decade. He told me that every scratch and mark on it had a story. He recalled the day he slipped on his motorcycle, leaving a small tear in the sleeve, and the time he left the jacket out in the rain by accident, which caused the leather to fade a bit. Yet he never saw these flaws as reasons to throw it away. Instead, they became part of the jacket's character. Each imperfection reminded him that life isn't always perfect, yet we can still move forward. I think that's the magic of old clothes. They hold a narrative of our triumphs and struggles. Maybe it's sentimental, or maybe it's just practical. Either way, wearing something that has endured both good and bad times can give us a sense of stability in a world that's always changing. These days, it can feel like everything around us is changing faster than we can handle. New gadgets come out, new fashions emerge, and people keep telling us we have to stay current. But there's a kind of quiet bravery in saying, you know what, I'm okay with what I have. That doesn't mean you're afraid of change. It might mean you value something more than just surface updates. You value continuity, you value memories, and you value the journey those clothes have taken with you. It can be a lesson in self-acceptance too. When you keep wearing that same old sweater, you're saying that you don't need to impress anyone with fancy labels. You're confident in your own skin. You're also making a statement against the idea that our worth depends on looking brand new all the time. Sometimes, wearing history on your back is more powerful than any trend. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should all stop buying new clothes or that changing your style is wrong. There's joy in trying fresh looks. And sometimes a new outfit can lift your mood. But it's worth asking why we chase the latest craze. Do we really love those new items? Or do we buy them because we think we must keep up? There's a freedom in stepping back and saying, I'll wear this old shirt because it still serves me. Maybe it fits just right, or maybe it's soft from years of washing, or maybe it reminds you of a time you want to hold close. When you see someone still wearing clothes from 10 years ago, try to see the deeper meaning instead of judging them. They might have found a sense of identity and calm that doesn't depend on external approval, and that can be a rare gift. I remember a woman who always wore a worn-out hoodie from her college days. It was faded, and the logo was barely visible. But she said it was a reminder of a phase in her life when she felt unstoppable. She didn't cling to it because she feared the present. She wore it because it helped her remember that younger version of herself who believed in big dreams and worked hard to reach them. Over time, the hoodie became her symbol of resilience. Whenever she faced a new challenge, slipping it on gave her a boost of courage, as if it carried the energy of those earlier years. That's not to say you must wear outdated things to feel strong, but when an item from the past can stir something positive in you, it becomes more than just fabric. It becomes a thread connecting your past, present, and future together. Society often measures success by how fresh or modern we appear. But when I see someone who's not ashamed to wear clothes from a decade ago, I see a person who's found value in more lasting things. They might be telling the world, "I've grown, but I still acknowledge where I started." In that sense, old clothes can serve as landmarks on our life journey. Every time we put them on, we pass by those landmarks again, and we recall how far we've come. This can ground us, giving us a sense of continuity that's easy to lose in a world filled with instant updates. There's also an environmental aspect to this. Holding on to clothes cuts down on waste. It's a small act, but it speaks volumes about caring for what we already own. Sometimes, wisdom shows itself not through grand gestures, but through simple, enduring choices and gentle awareness. It's not only about nostalgia or being frugal. Sometimes it's about having faith in your own sense of style and identity. Fashion can be a wonderful way to express who we are. But if we constantly need new items to feel confident, we might be missing something on a deeper level. Those who keep their clothes for years might have a stronger sense of who they are. They're not swayed by every passing trend because they know what suits them, both physically and emotionally. That kind of self-awareness is worth celebrating. It lets us make choices that resonate with our true selves, not just with whatever is popular at the moment. Wearing older clothes can also spark conversations. People might ask, "Why do you still wear that?" And it opens the door to share stories, lessons, and personal history that new clothes can't always carry. They hold real, lived meaning. I've also noticed that people who wear older clothes tend to take care of them better. They learn small tricks to mend holes, remove stains, or patch up worn-out spots. There's a pride in keeping something functional, in not discarding it at the first sign of wear. This sense of responsibility can spread to other parts of life too. If we learn to maintain our clothes, we might learn to maintain our friendships, our homes, and our hobbies with the same care. It's about seeing potential and value, even when something isn't brand new. That mindset can lead to deeper satisfaction because we stop searching for happiness in constant novelty. We realize that what we already have can be enough if we nurture it. In a world that sells us the idea that we need more and more, choosing to cherish the old can be a refreshing act of strength. Some may argue that wearing clothes from 10 years ago makes you look behind the times. But isn't it fascinating how certain styles come back? Trends often cycle every couple of decades anyway. Even if that doesn't happen, there's nothing wrong with valuing personal meaning over social approval. Whenever I spot someone in a retro jacket or an old pair of shoes, I'm curious about the story behind them. Maybe they remind the person of an important day, a lost friend, or a milestone they reached. Fashion can be fleeting, but memories endure. An old t-shirt might not be in style, but it can be a window into a person's heart. I find that far more interesting than any hot new trend. In the end, our clothes are an extension of ourselves, and no one else can define how we should feel about them. They're simply too personal to dismiss. I think one of the biggest lessons in seeing someone wear decade-old clothes is recognizing that growth doesn't always mean discarding the past. Sometimes, growth is about carrying the best parts of it with us. We evolve, but we don't forget our roots. We change, but we don't have to erase everything that once mattered. When I ask myself, who still wears the clothes they wore 10 years ago? I find the answer isn't shocking at all. It's people who understand that you can embrace change without losing what made you who you are. It's those who see their clothes as more than just fashion statements. And maybe, just maybe, it's those who have unlocked a small secret to happiness, knowing that you don't need something new to feel renewed. The real renewal comes from within, and old clothes can still shine if you carry yourself with confidence and genuine peace. So, the next time you see someone walking down the street in a pair of jeans or a jacket that clearly isn't fresh off the rack, don't be too quick to judge. They might be holding on to something that brings them genuine comfort. That doesn't simply mean they're living in the past. It could mean they've learned how to truly merge yesterday and today in a fresh way. We can all learn from that. After all, life isn't about what's new, it's about what remains meaningful. If you find that old shirt in the back of your closet and it makes you smile, maybe you should wear it tomorrow. Embrace the memories, the growth, and the continuity it represents. Because sometimes the truest form of style isn't about what's hot, it's about what resonates with your heart on a deeper level.